interest, and if Michigan did want Brian Kelly, that he would leave LSU for Michigan. So immediately after that video came out, now a lot of you have been telling me that maybe there was some context to that video other than what was said. I would love to know the context, because I went back and watched, and the context is pretty clear. It seems as if that there are some people on this media beat that literally said that Brian Kelly would have interest in Michigan if that job were to come open and Jim Harbaugh were to leave. The first thing, let's attack this with 4 different points here. Number one, and this is probably the most simple one. And the biggest question is, well, Blake, if BK has interest in going to Michigan, well, would he want to go somewhere else at any other time? Or what's going on with Michigan and Jim Harbaugh to start off with? Well, the truth is, Jim Harbaugh doesn't have to do anything. He is in the catbird seat. Guys, he's back in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. The logical point for Jim Harbaugh right now would be wait and see. Like, if he won a national title, which I don't believe that he will, even if he played for a national title, he would hold all of the leverage. He would hold all the leverage with Michigan. He would hold all the leverage with any NFL job that he would want that would be open. No, I don't think Harbaugh not signing the contract that allegedly Michigan has offered him, 10 years, $125 million guaranteed. No, he's going to sit and wait, because Michigan is not going to pull that from him if he doesn't win a national title. That offer is always going to be there. They're always going to want to give him that contract. They're not going to pull it from him. And people would ask me, well, why wouldn't they? Because Michigan's doing everything they can to fight all of the what Connor Stallings, whatever his name was, investigation with them going and filming other teams, him standing on the sidelines, filming at a Michigan State game. Like, they are fighting all of these things to keep Harbaugh as the head coach. Just this past week, they got an NOA, which is a notice of allegations for recruiting violations that happened all the way back during 2020 during COVID. And they're fighting those too. No, they want to keep Jim Harbaugh and do everything they can to keep him. Michigan is a place where a lot of times they want Michigan guys. Brady Hoke. Remember when they went after Les Miles? Rich Rod would be the only one that wasn't a typical Michigan guy. And then Harbaugh comes back. They want a Michigan man, as they would call it, to be the head coach of Michigan. Brian Kelly's not a Michigan guy. Now, his former defensive line coach and current Michigan DC, he does fit that bill. He does 1,000% fit that bill, where I would think that they might return to in that late of a date if Harbaugh were to leave. Now, here's the truth. Let's talk about this from a Brian Kelly perspective. And let's actually give the context of where this is coming from. So on Wednesday, I told you there's going to be coaching rumors that are going to come out. Don't believe them. So last real show, not named Mike Denbrock and him leaving to Notre Dame, that we did. Brian Kelly, about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever he was asked, was would he leave LSU for Michigan? And what he said was, this is my final ride. This is my final stop. I'm not going anywhere. Now, you don't have to believe him, but let's play a little bit of just context, and let's play a little game here. As soon as this quote-unquote rumor or quote-unquote sourcing came out from Billy Lucci, and today or this week, the last couple of days, from someone in this own LSU media beat, not only did Brian Kelly massively deflected a couple weeks ago, he's got people in his own camp very close to him, I might add, that are not only refuting it, they're flat out denying that he wants to go anywhere right now. So I don't know if the quote-unquote sourcing from Billy Lucci about a month ago is something that he's just trying to get after LSU. He says it during the week that LSU and Texas A&M are playing. Then Last week, Billy Lucci was in a video, which, by the way, me and him got into it on social media. Me telling him to come on the show. If he wants to talk shit about LSU and Brian Kelly, come on. Let's talk about it. Don't run. He says, we'll do it after the holidays. He will refuse to come on here because he knows what will happen. But, guys, LSU and A&M at that exact moment were in massive recruiting battles. Terry Bussey being one of them. They're in one right now with Dominic McKinley, the 5-star from Lafayette. Why do you think Billy Lucci said it? Sure as hell didn't say anything about when they tried to pluck away Mike Denbrock as their next offensive coordinator. Seemed to magically forget that he got an A&M, absolutely got put in a locker by LSU in this administration, and why Mike Denbrock wouldn't want to go to a cult fan base, a cult type of team and atmosphere, doesn't bring that up, and now it resurfaces this week. Now, listen to what I'm about to say. Listen to me. If you don't listen, and I know we're at the end of the year, if you have not listened to anything I've said this year, listen to me. Is there a chance that Brian Kelly, if Jim Harbaugh left, could go to Michigan? Absolutely. He's a really good coach. Regardless of how bad and how mad you are about what happened this last year. Yeah, I could easily see that happening. But there's a lot of what ifs. Jim Harbaugh leaving, Brian Kelly in a buyout that he could or could not have with LSU. I heard that context too. I was under the impression that it was more than $2 million, but what do I know? Could he be? Yeah, sure. 1,000%. Yeah, he could. I'm not going to deny that at all. I'm not going to. But there's in this business, there are so many things that are whispers that when they're released, okay, can kill things for you as not only a team, a fan base, an administration. Do you realize how many things have to happen for this to go on? Harbaugh would have to, just quite honestly, would have to walk away from $125 million guaranteed, go back into the NFL. Now, there's a realistic option that he does that. A very realistic option that he does that because he's got the Connor Stallions thing. He's got the NOA from recruiting. He's already served a 6-game suspension this year. I don't know how much more he would have to be suspended for if they suspend him at all from this point forward. I don't think that that's going to happen. He's already served penalty. He's out there today in a press conference with ESPN saying, it made me love Michigan even more. Like, you literally have Jim Harbaugh on ESPN today in an interview, and Marty Smith asks him, when you're out of those 6 games, what was the first thing that you feel? If there's one way you can describe how you feel, the first thing that comes out of his mouth, it made me want to win more at Michigan than I ever have. So if the dude is that determined, going to get paid $125 million guaranteed, yeah, I don't know if that's a strong possibility. I don't care that the contract's hadn't been signed for Michigan because he holds all the leverage. Michigan will not pull a $125 million guaranteed contract from him if he doesn't win the national title. If he rolls his happy ass out here in less than a week or about a week, and Alabama absolutely just destroys Michigan, Michigan will not pull that contract from him. It will not happen. I don't know what he's going to do. I really don't know what he's going to do. But one thing is for sure, Brian Kelly camp's denying it. Everywhere you turn, they're denying it. You got someone that's close to him on staff out there legitimately denying it. So if they would do that, yeah, I don't think that it has a lot of merit. Now, the rumors were allegedly, how do I want to say this? The rumors were people pulling him back saying, I never said that. You got Lucci quote tweeting the video from Nick Diaz, okay? Which, by the way, the mindset you have to be in, and I'm not mad at Nick Diaz. Somebody else said it. You thought it was prominent. You put it on Twitter. Okay, sounds good. But to deny that you ever said it, and one of the more crucial points that LSU is in, I can make the argument that right now is more pivotal for Brian Kelly, for a coaching staff, for recruiting than it's ever been at LSU. And let me tell you why, even letting that rumor fly before it's even remotely possible of happening. So, again, realize that there's so many things. There are so many things that have to happen for Harbaugh to leave Michigan to go to the NFL and for that job to be open. The biggest problem in all of that is this. You have a 5-star running back in Harlem Berry committing on January the 3rd. You have the number 1 player in 2025 committing on January the 6th. That hurt you so bad. I'm telling you, it hurts you bad in recruiting areas. Regardless of what you think, I know for a fact after making phone calls, by the way, last night at the end of Christmas, shooting texts and making some phone calls, it hurts recruiting. 1,000%. 2025 especially. Why you would just come out with a rumor mill and then deny that you said it, I don't get it. But this is a pivotal point in Brian Kelly's tenure here at LSU. He's got Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton that he just elevated as co-offensive coordinators. I would assume after the bowl game, there's going to be maybe some shakeup along the defensive staff. That's my opinion. Have not officially got that confirmed yet. It's my opinion. I think that that's going to happen. And by the way, the number 1 running back in the country in 2025 in Harlem Berry is going to commit in a couple of days. And then 3 days after that, you got the number 1 player in the country who, by the way, you lead for, who now has to call Brian Kelly and say, Coach, are you thinking about coming to even my home state in Michigan if Jim Harbaugh were to leave? God bless it. God bless it. I'm telling you, it hurts you. So of these 4 points that we've laid out here, let me give you my opinion. My opinion is, and strictly opinion, I don't think Brian Kelly's leaving to go to Michigan. Could he leave and go somewhere else? Could someone in the NFL be snooping around, maybe want him to go? Maybe he does want to go back home. If Bill Belichick steps down, maybe he does go to New England. Who knows? I don't even know if that coaching job is going to be open. But there's a possibility always when you have a really good coach, especially a head coach, your name's going to be brought up in big-time jobs. So I do think that it should help you reestablish a little bit of faith in what Brian Kelly is doing at LSU. Now, I'm not going to sell you on everything. It's not really my job to sell you. My job is to tell you what I think about what's going on with the state of the program. Do I think they got to pick it up in some areas? 1,000%. They got to do better along the defensive line in the front 7. They do. They 1,000% do. They got to do some better things along the secondary. Not going to deny it. But you were sitting here in this almost exact spot, almost the exact same spot that you were in a year ago. You're in it right now. The only difference is, yeah, your offensive coordinator left. But from an on-field record standpoint, you're the same. You're the exact same. I do believe, and we talked about this the other night, I do believe that having Cortez Hankton and Joe Sloan co-coordinators is what they're going to roll with, and I don't hate it. I legitimately don't. And I cannot see Brian Kelly walking that back, nor do I think should he. Talking to some people in the industry, have a really good buddy of mine that coaches at LA. 2 years ago, Cortez Hankton got interviewed for the offensive coordinator job and was a finalist. Was a finalist for that gig. You talk to people in the coaching realm, wouldn't be surprised if Cortez Hankton's not an official OC very soon. So I do like the addition of Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton. Guys, look at what he's done in the passing game with the receivers. I mean, he's done wonders with what the receivers and the development that they've had. Yeah, Jaden Daniels went absolutely stupid this year. But let's not act like Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, even Kyron Lacey at times did not improve massively their damn selves. Defensively, I think you're going to make hires, okay? And I don't know where it's going to be. I've told you my thoughts on Corey Raymond. I have not budged on that, and I'm not going to budge. There are question marks around Corey Raymond returning here. Guys, 97th in the country. 97th in the country. The last 4 years in passing yards allowed are Corey Raymond teams. 97th. Yeah, he comes back here. He's going to have to recruit at a higher rate, and he's going to have better defense on the field. That's it. It's a big ask. It's a massive ask. Oh, by the way, most of your two deep is true freshmen. Most of your two deep is going to be true freshmen because you're not going back in the portal to get DBs. You're going to have to develop. I've told you, if it was my opinion, my pick, I'd 1,000% go ask Chevis Jackson what he's up to. It's my opinion. There's a lot of things going on, and this is why I think to wrap this all in a perfect little bow, why I think all of this is going on, because there's negative light around LSU right now. You don't know how and what they're going to look like on the offense. You had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, an unreal offense, and you can't make a playoff. You go 9-3 with that kind of offense. And now you have no idea what Garrett Nussmeier is about to do or pull off. You think the defense is going to be even worse or could be even worse, or if not just the same next year as it is this one. Oh my, how the times have changed when you're 9-4 a year ago to where you're 9-3. You fast forward an entire year. You're 9-3 again this year. And yeah, you underperformed. Brian Kelly admitted in his press conference on signing day, we underperformed, or either maybe the one before that, we underperformed. This is not the standard with the offense that we just had. What we saw defensively, this will not be the standard. Okay, well, when you say that, that means that changes are coming. That means you're adding really good coaches. That's what that means. Okay. You hate that Mike Denbrock. And the Mike Denbrock news, it's not that Mike Denbrock left. So all of this bad news and all of this bad feelings that you have towards this football program all compiles with, and what is the peak of all of it, is that not only did Mike Denbrock leave and go take another OC job somewhere, Mike Denbrock left and went to Notre Dame, which then makes it worse from a PR standpoint. Yeah, regardless, it doesn't matter. Brian Kelly in this program has egg on their face because he went there from a national standard, even though the truth is, no, they really don't. But the PR standpoint is going to be, until LSU's team gets on the field next year and offensively they dominate, it's going to be like that all off season. Oh, LSU, we just got your offensive coordinator. He wants to be here. He don't want to be down there in the bayou. That's what they're going to say. Let them say it. Because a team that hasn't won a national title since 1988 doesn't scare my happy ass, and it shouldn't scare yours. Rumors have consequences. They always have, and they always will. What I will tell you is, we've been doing this since 2017. And I understood it. I understood it when we first started all this. We would break, the way that we made our name was breaking news. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. I'm not in that game anymore because got labeled so many things. Myself, my wife, my kids, every one of them, either directly or indirectly, have taken shots because of breaking news. Everybody wants to be in the know. Nobody just wants to talk shop anymore. Nobody. It makes them look cool and feel cool. Well, the media world has changed. It has changed. Where you got your stuff from in the beginning is not where you can get your stuff from now. Now, do you have to do your own vetting and trust on reliable people and people that are always reliable and sources? Yeah. I'm not telling you to just run out there with any rumor that's on freaking Tiger droppings and bring it somewhere. That's not how this works. But what I will tell you is that when you come on a show like this or you go to another podcast, if they're reliable, you probably should listen to them. And what's crazy is 5 years ago, people like myself and others that do stuff like this got absolutely ridiculed, beat up, told, oh, he's a dopey face podcast guy. Well, at least my fat ass has got hair. So regardless, I tend to think that we have been very reliable. I'm not in the news breaking business anymore. Will we? Can we? Yeah. They're possibly, hint, hint, wink, wink. I think you're going to add guys from the portal in the next month. I think you're going to lose guys. Maybe even guys that you're not expecting you're going to lose. Maybe adding a guy or two that you didn't even expect that position group was something that you needed. You can listen to whoever you want to. But I'm just going to tell you, rumors kill. And I promise you this. From a recruiting aspect, I said it was the biggest hit, was in part of recruiting. Let me give you an example. If you're Bryce Underwood, let me ask y'all a question. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with this. Thumbs up or thumbs down inside the chat. Okay? Tell me this. If you're Bryce Underwood in the last 3 visits that you've made, number 1 player in the nation, quarterback. You're from the state of Michigan. You've gone on an official visit to Michigan. You've gone on multiple visits and an official visit to LSU. You got him inside of Death Valley swag surfing. Okay? Then about a week ago, surprisingly to everybody, he takes a trip to Bama on a either, I forget, so sue me. Either he went on an unofficial or official, I don't remember. But he went on a visit to Alabama. It hurts Michigan in his recruiting because, well, hey, man, you got this notice of allegations. You got the Connor Stallions thing going on with the videoing coaches' signals. You got multiple lawsuits that are out there. Is Harbaugh going to hit the transfer pool his damn self and go to LA with the Chargers? And with all that being said, well, if that actually does happen, let me call Brian Kelly. Hey, Coach Kelly, are you going to Michigan? Are you leaving LSU? I mean, I loved it down there. I told multiple people that LSU has been my number 1 place. And then your Nick Saban's crazy ass sitting there on the sidelines calling up Bryce Underwood and saying, hey, man, Harbaugh ain't going to be there, and BK ain't going to be at LSU. He's going to Michigan, and he's going to have to do his, it's going to be a little rebuilding process. All we're doing here at Alabama, we're in the playoffs. And by the way, you're better than the quarterback that I have now. Rumors kill when Nick Saban can make a phone call to the number 1 player in the country, it's for 2025, and say, hey, man, sounds like Michigan and Alabama has some issues going on. LSU, they can't beat us on a consistent basis. That's what he's going to tell them. So thumbs up, do you agree? Thumbs down, do you disagree? Because I'm telling you it's happening. Hand to the good Lord. I'm telling you that is happening. If you think that Nick Saban is not calling Bryce Underwood right now and saying that there's instability at those two programs, you're nuts. You're insane. And by the way, here's a little news flash about how my business works. You want to know how my business works? It goes like this. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. The number I just dialed was 1-800-CALL-AN-AGENT. And they'll call guys like me. They'll call other dudes. They'll have people that work for them. We've had a guy on this show, not going to mention his name, a guy on this show who works for the largest agency firm who has the contracts and is the attorney of record for over two-thirds of the head coaching industry. And my good buddy, who I love to death, will give me a phone call. Bring, say, hey, man, listen, A&M's trying to plug Mike Denbrock to be their next offensive coordinator. And Brian Kelly told him that, hey, you might want to go to there or Notre Dame because they're going to have an opening too. Brian Kelly might be out of here. I heard if Harbaugh leaves, he's going to Michigan. 1,000% happens. Now, what's the truth in all of that? The truth is, yeah, Mike Elko is trying to hire Mike Denbrock. But that is how rumors start, to get this thing rolling. Meanwhile, Jimmy Sexton's fat ass, okay, is on the phone with all of these different media people, or his people are. I shouldn't say Jimmy Sexton, but his people are on the phone making phone calls to guys like me, other radio hosts, national dudes, saying this, and this is going on. By the way, Billy Lucci was the one that broke the news that Elko was going to be the next head coach. Wonder who told him that. He'll say, oh, it was my people inside A&M. The shit it is. When it comes to coaching, I'm telling you, as someone who has broke news, bullshit. These national guys break coaching news because they're getting it from schools, either ADs, and a lot of times they're getting it from agents. I promise you. So you mean to tell me that Jimmy Sexton's fat ass didn't pick up a phone call one day, and it's from the little man, and the little man says, I need you to stir up some chaos at Michigan. I need you to stir up some chaos at LSU, because I want to go after the number one player in the country, probably and arguably one of the best quarterbacks I've seen. I just got him on a visit here. I want that kid here. You mean to tell me that what I just told you, even though I know that I'm in the business and it happens to me weekly, I'm telling you how this business works. I ain't being careful on nothing. I'm not being careful on nothing, which reminds me, taking me out of context. I saw something today. Somebody sent me a text thread of something, okay, that said the video from the guy that was in the video, that all of it was taken out of context. Well, why didn't you stop it? Could have easily quote tweeted it and said this was completely taken out of context. Completely. I was asked a question in reference to, hey, if BK left LSU, what would have to happen? You could have easily put that to bed within the first hour or infancy that any of this happened. Guys, you all being here didn't even have to be a thing. Like, meaning us having to do somewhat of an emergency podcast or emergency show shouldn't have ever happened, because all of it could have been ended within an hour. So when you say, Blake, be careful, they're going to take you out of context, I see all your comments right here. No, I don't have to be. I don't have to be, because you know what my big ass would do? My fat ass would go out there and quote tweet and said, here's the actual clip. It's completely taken out of context. It's not what I mean. It's not what's happening. Could have easily been avoided. Meanwhile, playoff Saban is on his way to Michigan. Pun intended. Oh, and by the way, he's playing Michigan. He is playing Michigan in the playoffs, which we're about to talk about in just a second. Alabama is playing Michigan in a couple of days. If you think this is not the kind of stuff that goes on, so you wanted to, I'll give it another example. Everybody, I see so many people on social media talking like about NIL. Oh man, NIL so bad. So bad. I can't believe this is going on in college football. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen. This has always been going on. You're just now seeing how the sausage is being made. You're just seeing how all of it's always been happening. Now, are kids making more money because of the transfer portal? Can they make more money because they can use leverage? Okay. All right. Cool. LSU profited. This is on their audit sheet. $90 million. Who do they think they kidnapped? Chelsea Clinton? The bottom line is, I don't care if people or players are going to try to make money. All right, whatever. Cool. But this has always had how the sausage has been made. Who was the two dudes? If Paul Zub is in here, he'll tell me. Who are some dudes, okay, that was it Treadwell, Laquan Treadwell, never visited Ole Miss, commits there. My point in what I'm saying, the point that I'm saying is, this is the business we work, and I'm telling you how the sausage is being made. You might not like to hear that, but it's just how it goes down. It 1,000% is how it goes down. So all of the, what's the word I'm looking for here? Rumors that you'd heard, right? Like all the rumors that you'd heard about, yeah, man, that's Jimmy Sexton, or that's Trace out there putting out them fake rumors. Like, remember when Brian Kelly was hired, and I forget who broke or allegedly broke the news, because it wasn't news, that said Lincoln Riley was going to be the next head coach at LSU. Guys, where do you think this stuff comes from? You think that this stuff is just made up in somebody's head? Oh, this guy's he's just making all this up. Guys, that could easily be the truth. But 9 times out of 10, it's when a young dude, like even the guy with Lane Kiffin last year, the TV reporter, and I think it's in Jackson, Mississippi, broke the news that Lane Kiffin was going to Auburn. Well, what they did not realize is that kid would go on a video and go full blast and saying that not only did he have an Ole Miss official confirm it, he had from somebody from inside the camp of Lane Kiffin saying, yeah, that's the email we just got to. Here it is. So the kid from Jackson who broke the Lane Kiffin story that he's going to Auburn gets absolutely abused, okay, on social media. Meanwhile, he's literally got confirmation from an Ole Miss official, like AD official. That's what he's claiming. 50 minutes of pure and insane talk about, like, hey, man, on Christmas, the day after Christmas, you and I have to have a serious conversation. Just told you how everything goes on. So, you know what we're going to do? If you have a question, thought, or concern, and if you're on YouTube, send in a super chat. It helps so easier. Send 99 cents. It helps me. But like D. Smith just did with a $199 super chat, says Gordon better call Bryce, back up the money truck with the hashtag with a $199 super chat. It's going to take more. Well, let me just say this. It's going to take more than just him. It does take more than just him. The money part, okay. So to D. Smith's point or thought here, I have no worries about the money. The only reason, here's the truth. Let me be careful here. If you thought LSU wasn't competitive in the NIL space, then why are they in the sweepstakes for the number one player in the country? What do you think happens? All right. So the money has I'm not even thinking about that. All I'm saying is that rumors kill, and listen to somebody that is reliable. Even though I might be the LSU poster child for a new guy off the street coming out of nowhere, breaking news, having a podcast. Nobody likes my ass in the beginning because he took my news. Don't listen to guys who haven't gone to the manship school. Manship school ain't got shit on what you do and do not know and got confirmed and what you did not get confirmed. Doesn't stop me from firing up this goddamn microphone. I tell you that. Doesn't stop me from building my own business. Doesn't stop any of that shit. What it does start is, okay, you'll have other guys on your little shows and you think it's good. I don't need you. You don't need me. Good. But guys like me took a beating for being wrong when we weren't. Meanwhile, you got people from Brian Kelly's camp denying it to the person who's in the video. I know for a fact. Fuck it. Let him go. Snafu, I got you. I got you. I'll do better with that. Crypto Occasion says, do the players have agents now? They do not. They do not. Chili says, ask Blake, so does LSU have to worry on the 6th? I'm not moving my pick. I put my pick in. I'm not moving it. I haven't had any word to move it. All right. The guy in Joe Sloan who was recruiting him, all right, isn't going anywhere as of right now. Now, this is what we're going to do. Because I got it now, after spending 60 minutes almost, we might have to do an hour and a half show because there's so much going on. But what we're going to do is this. I'm going to take a break. Send in your thoughts, questions, concerns. Either do it in the super chat. That's what 1,000% gets it read. Or we'll try to get to